IVM.
Hi,
You're
listening to IVM
Daily. Hello and welcome to this episode of IVM Daily. And I'm Priyanka, and I have three of my co-producers, Abbas, Jaanam, and Gaurav.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
Hey.
I see my fellow producers are sort of sad because they've realized how dependent they are on cabs and what happens when our cab services are on strike. But yeah, let's get on to the first bit, that how dependent are we on cab services in the city?
Pretty dependent, I would say. I think in the last couple of years, we've gotten used to the fact that, because the cab services are on strike, after a long time, you have to go out of your house and hunt for a cab because we're used to the cabs coming till our doorstep with us navigating them to wherever we want to go. So the idea of going out and actually hailing a cab and getting rejected by the cab
Sitting
driver.
in the Kali Pili for once without AC.
No, that's fine for me, but...
Or like using public transport.
Yeah. Public transport, yeah, buses and trains. I use the train regularly for long distance travels, but for the slightly shorter distances, it was just as easy as picking up your phone and booking a cab. But now it's... because of the strike, it's a little tough for me.
But I think the itch now is that, this convenience that we get from these cab aggregators, it also sort of makes you really dependent, right? And also for people otherwise who are new to the city and they're used to these cabs, do you think it sort of comes in the way of them to explore the city like on their own? Because then you have Google Maps and then you have someone who's taking you to this place directly.
See, actually, in my opinion, the people who are new to the city, I don't think Uber and Ola is going to affect them as much as someone who's a regular traveler in the city. The reason being, if I'm going into a new city or a new country, I don't go there with the expectation of, they should have a cab service, there for me to come and pick me up from wherever I am. It's usually, like, for example, if you go to Thailand, which you got the tuk-tuks, readily available. It's not like a hired service or anything like that. And if you really want to hire, then you can hire a car and things like per hour
But now
basis.
there is Grab in Thailand. So it's basically like your Uber and Ola, and they're your regular. But the difference is they're actually your regular. There they are AC cabs, and it's just that these people have been facilitated by this aggregator, so you can probably see the same cab like on the road and stop it.
Achha,
But
it's kind of like the New York cabs, the yellow ones. They are also run by private services, but then you can hail one of those on the street.
So I think that works like for both, for the driver and for you also. If you're really, you want to go to the airport, you want to go, you have like some sort of like place that you really need to get to, and where you don't really have the time to invest in catching a cab and all that. But that's what I'm saying. So you have this whole thing with convenience, and then services are disrupted, and do you feel like paralyzed? I mean, how does that
in a way,
pan
because
out for you guys?
actually these cab services today, they're actually cheaper than the regular cabs you can get outside. Not cheaper than the rickshaw.
Time, though. Not all the time. But sometimes, yes.
And on a general, when it's not a peak hour, when they charge their actual rate, when it's not the surge pricing, they're usually going to be cheaper than like just hailing a cab off the road. And right now, I went online to book a cab today to work, and it's showing twice the price of what I would normally pay, and it's like a crazy amount, because it really, for the average working Joe, it's a pretty big, hit.
I agree with you. So I am actually heavily dependent on these cab services because I use it for my daily commute to work. And when the strike was there, like while coming, I had no option but to take a rickshaw. And there is clearly a difference in the fare because cab service that I take offers obviously much discounted rates. And if you do a shared cab, that's even better. And getting home also after work is a scene. So last night I was here till late and I had to go back, and I actually took the train. But then the only reason I did take the train was because it was slightly later, and it wasn't peak hour. Otherwise, probably like bus or...
But then tell me, how much of it is also about like status symbol, because you can take, or I can take an auto here every day.
Yeah.
But then we don't. We opt for a car which has an air conditioner
So
and lets
Yeah,
us come.
I don't really believe in the status
Okay.
thing,
Same.
as because while coming to work I take the shared cab because
Right.
it's like the reason I take the shared cab is because it's cheaper than the regular cab, and
It's a guarantee that you book a cab,
Yeah.
the cab will come rather
yeah,
than
and
a
it's
rickshaw which
and
will
it's much
reject
faster. While going home, I usually take the bus,
Okay.
which is
You're
which
very
takes
humble, yes.
yeah, it takes me very long to get home because I don't know when the bus will arrive. There are
Right.
times when I'm waiting at the bus stop for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and the
And
bus
there's no
isn't
bus.
there. Yeah.
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
I think that's the frequency and the crowd are the two main reasons
Yeah.
that put you away from public transport and go for services like
But
this.
I feel that India's, at least Bombay's public transport it's actually very efficient.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
everybody from
uh,
other cities is extremely like they
Yeah.
really wonder how do Mumbaikars really do this train travel, and how are we like hustling our way through all the public transport.
Yeah.
But talking of being disrupted, like your routine being disrupted by something like this, does this mean that you should make a conscious effort time and again to sort of course, you have these services.
Right.
But either you use, your public transport otherwise, so that, whenever something comes up, it doesn't really bother you. This is more like a personal exercise where you're like, hey, okay, the first thing that shouldn't come to my mind is just book a cab when I can probably take a rickshaw or something like that.
Or a train, yeah.
For distances that you can...
No, but that's the thing, right? The frequency and the crowd. It's not a guarantee that the first auto rickshaw I stop will say yes, I'll go to your destination.
See, that has its own challenges.
Or I'll get a seat in the train or the bus. So when something like this is a service that's available on my phone, I don't even have to like
Yeah.
It's
I
the
can
power of
wake up.
technology.
we don't
Power
all
of
have the same
yeah.
power as you, Priyanka, to halt a cab,
Auto rickshaw.
whenever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say that.
Nope. Yeah, we don't have that.
Coming to public transport in our country, I'm happy to see like there's maybe one or two trains that have become air conditioned. There are a few AC buses, but I feel our infrastructure needs to up its game, and
Yeah, sure.
I feel all the buses should be air conditioned, all the trains should be air conditioned like the metro. Only if they do that will more people want to travel by public transport, because it's just so much more convenient. And in Bombay, especially with the heat around and
Yeah.
the pollution, it like my skin gets affected, man, when I travel by bus.
I don't know. I'm of the view that okay, fine. I wouldn't say that air conditioning is this basic criteria or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
that I would need in public transport. I would just need them. I mean, to each his own, but I would just need like an efficient service, and that's all that would matter to me. But the other flip side of also having this whole AC thing is that, talking of the AC trains, and because their fares are higher, again, like somewhere, if you demand that from your public transport, they will charge
you for
that
it,
much.
yeah.
And then again, it's like, the people who can afford it, who can't afford
Yeah,
it, and
yeah.
all of that comes into picture.
Yeah.
So I think everybody should just get an efficient service, and sort of, if there are things that we need, like if you're traveling public transport, then there is a general consensus you need to come to. And of course, there's the heat. We've been dealing with it all our lives.
Yeah.
That's when you have your private cab services. But with public transport, I just think that the biggest need is just to be efficient and
Right.
just to work. I mean, I'm not sure if I'd want like AC and all that. I mean, these are a little like luxurious demands, but yeah.
Yeah.
You heard that, Jaanam?
No. So when you're actually using the, I feel when you're
I mean,
using
also
it for
that I
daily
don't use,
commute,
like,
yeah.
as you're saying, I
and if
don't
it's
use-
longer distances,
Don't
you
overtalk,
do-
guys. One by one.
We have all our
Yeah.
views coming in right and no cab with AC cab, yeah. But they have nothing
It's
to
okay
say.
to each their own.
I mean, over here, I think, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, it takes me like an hour to get to work. What about you, Jaanam?
Yeah, an hour and a half sometimes.
And Priyanka, how long does it take you?
6 minutes.
6 minutes.
Wow.
By
Okay. Okay, by walking.
Yes.
So, I mean, Me.
I also come to the office.
Abbas, how long do you take?
About 50 minutes.
About 50 minutes,
Yeah.
exactly. So about
Yeah.
like between 45 minutes to an hour is what it usually takes us. And I mean, if it's 50 minutes or even 45
50 minutes
minutes
by train, as in
Okay.
taking a train, getting down to the station, walking to the office.
Okay, but I mean the thing is that the longer the distance, you also have to weigh out the merit that if you have a more comfortable ride, you're going to be more rested for office. You're going to
No,
be
I
more
agree.
efficient in office. Or else the first couple minutes can be just be like, oh my god.
I can't believe I made it here.
Yeah, I can't believe
Can I
I
go
made it
home
here.
now?
and the motivation to go, to travel somewhere increased so much.
The motivation to come to work is
more
I
if
would,
it's
I would say
comfortable.
travel anywhere. Go anywhere out of the house. If at 11 o'clock at night or midnight I want to go out, for example, if stop laughing.
It's not
Abbas.
safe. Gaurav.
My point is that you have motivation to go out of the house if the travel is much
easier.
Like if I'm not trying to be snooty here, but like if someone told me, okay, you have to travel in a plane, and if someone tells me it's economy class, I'd be like, oh my god, I have to stand in all the long queues. I have to, go and sit in
like
those
a
tiny
brat
chairs.
right now.
Yeah, and you had problem with Jaanam asking for ACs in the bus.
Exactly.
So we basically have different levels of brats.
And I mean, I'm just giving it as a example. I'm not
Sure.
saying this is me. I mean, I travel economy only. But
So now he's trying to be a humble man.
but
But
I'm
if
just
someone
saying,
offered you business, you travel to the worst place just because you're
no.
Okay.
I mean, it's a round trip, of course. So like you have two trips and only one place. But no, I mean, I'm just saying that I'm much more enthusiastic and motivated to travel if I'm traveling in a much more luxurious manner.
Sure.
Right? And also in a cab, you can multitask. You can take out your laptop and you can work on it. You can watch a video. You don't have to worry about the ambient noise from outside when you're like watching your Netflix on your phone or anything like that. Yeah, guys, so that was our episode on how we travel around Mumbai and our first world problems with transportation. So you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at IVM Podcasts, and you can tell us more about your experiences in Mumbai traveling with the hashtag IVM Daily. Till next time, folks. Cheers.
He bends down to test the warm water for his bath. He comes here to quench his thirst for a hot shower and some podcasts. You can witness how he enjoys having other people talk about cool stuff in his bathroom. Indeed, it helps him with his loneliness. You can find more of his species on ivmpodcast.com, your one-stop destination where you can check out the coolest Indian podcasts. Happy listening.